It is a strange thing, isn't it, to spend your life being the bridge for others, silently screaming for respite from grief and hoping someone will bridge the gap for you. That's the place I found myself in this past year or so. This is a hard one for me to write. It's raw, it's messy, and it's layered with the kind of grief that doesn't just sit on your chest, it settles into your very bones. But I felt you might understand, because sometimes even us mediums need a message. My story with my dad, Patrick, really intensified back in the early days of COVID. Before the world even knew what was coming, I felt a deep spiritual urgency. I needed to stock up on food, life's essentials, toilet roll, of course, but more importantly, I needed to be close to him. I'm a Mayo woman living in Donegal, and the distance felt like a physical weight. Dad and I had spent close to 20 years travelling between two counties to spend time together. From very early on in life, we always had a close relationship, and he taught me to read and write, something I struggled with. He was an amazing dad who tried his best to be there for everyone. Around February 2020, I became chronically unwell. For those who don't know, I live with a bit of an alphabet soup of conditions, undiagnosed autoimmune issues, somewhere between lupus and vasculitis, mixed with fibromyalgia, arthritis and photosensitivity. Life became a series of dark rooms and burning skin, sore joints, and when you throw in a bit of trigeminal neuralgia just for the crack, every day was a battle just to be, but I have survived and continue to keep pushing on. In 2018, I faced a life exit point only 2 weeks after my son was born, when I found myself in intensive care with post-eclampsia. My dad has journeyed that pregnancy with me, a devoted parent both practically and emotionally. Despite my health, Dad and I knew I needed breaks from an overcrowded house, and he agreed to let me put a mobile home on his land. So I purchased it here in Donegal, and it was transported down near the end of COVID. There was stuff on site that also needed sorting for his own living arrangements to improve. We had so many cups of tea in that wee home, hiding from the world and WhatsApping how we planned our imaginary escape to France, browsing houses on the net with money we didn't have. We were forever running away from the cold Irish weather. He felt it too, having asthma and a poor chest. He was my closest friend, the man who checked on me every single day to ask, "How is the burning, Dawn?" And I'd laugh through the pain and say, "It's a ring of fire today, Dad." You'll see me using AI for my images and presence now. When you live with a disability that changes your face, a visible lupus-type rash that burns and stings, AI lets me feel young and healthy for a moment. It's been one of life's blessings in helping create faster content and training for my students, but it's still me, and I have done my best to retain my sense of humor under severe circumstances at times. I laugh even now at the irony of my mum calling me Dawn and being allergic to light. I guess it's my way of coping. 2023 was a year of shattering. I went through a separation that split my family down the middle. It wasn't one that should have happened. In the midst of the Irish housing crisis, living in a tiny home with complex needs, there was no choice but for me to move out so my son with autism could finally have a bedroom. After 3 years of him and his dad sleeping on a sofa, I was sick of not having a solution or a room for my child to rest in. I reached a point where there was no other path. My heart was as weary as my body. And when I finally left, I was a woman in pieces. But there was a silver lining. For the first time, my children had their own rooms and beds. My father and my ex-husband understood the depth of the sacrifice required to give them that stability. While I hesitated to share these private family dynamics, I am tired of being judged by those who don't have the facts. I want you to hear the truth from me, not just as an author, but as a mother who faced impossible choices. I did what I had to do to give my children a chance at a better life. My life became a journey of saying no to people and situations that were just dumping on me and abusing my trust, gifts, and generosity. But I made it through it all. Dad stood by me. He knew the grief of it. He had seen me through the loss of my sons, Ben and Noah, and he knew I had reached my limit with my health. In late 2024, his own health began to fail. We laughed and spent as much time on the phone texting, but I could see him fade. He said to me at one point, "Now I know what you go through. How do you stick it, Dawn?" Unable to drive, I was limited in being by his side, and he had now moved into the shack of a mobile home. Homeless himself, we never got to restore his home as I had hoped would happen for him. I made it to Mayo in mid-May 2025. He was frail, exhausted, and ready. He passed away just 10 minutes after I left his side. My whole world broke in two. To make matters worse, as the official black sheep of the family, the treatment I received from those who should have held me was, well, it was hard to stomach. Grief is a heavy enough coat to wear without others trying to trip you up while you're wearing it. My dad had given his all and deserved so much more. For about 8 months, I lived in a cloud of grief. Dad never got to see my new home, the one he prayed so hard for me to find. But it had come at a massive price. The guilt had nearly killed me emotionally. Then, a few weeks ago, the spirit world decided I had suffered in silence long enough. Dad told me he was sick of seeing me crying and I had to stop punishing myself. But I did not know how. As a clairaudient, I hear the spirit world talk to me in my thoughts. In a dream, a clear male voice from my spirit team said, "Dawn, contact Sharon Davies. Your dad wants to talk to you." He even took the time to spell the surname so I wouldn't mess it up. I Googled her the next day. Out of the mediums in the UK, only one was spelled exactly as my dream dictated. I reached out, told her I was a fellow medium, and she acted quickly to fit me in. The session was profound. Not only did my dad Patrick come through, but my biological dad and grandfather made themselves known. Sharon's gift was a lighthouse, and the spirit world had chosen well. Dad had so much to say. He validated the family feuds, the land issues, and the titles, all the earthly nonsense he couldn't resolve in life but wanted to lift from my shoulders now. He told me he had seen it all. He had witnessed what had been done to me. There should be no blame, and my dad would always say, "Let ye all get on and not be fighting." I firmly agreed with him. As a medium of over 20 years, I have met many a family member distraught by family feuds after a loved one had passed. I knew the story well and did my best with what I had and could over the years to offer support to others. I tried to live the way I thought he would want and what was right for my soul. My goal was always to pay it forward. I carried the weight of being outcasted or many years and ploughed my energy into my children and the life I had built in Donegal. My dad respected my work, although he did not fully understand it. He walked on many a ghost trail with me and loved it. He hid behind trees, even as a 70-year-old man playing the role of spooky ghost. We had many an adventure together, and he loved nothing more than helping make the tea for those that came to talk to their loved ones. He came, he sat, he observed, and he offered many a great story to those who loved listening to his life experience as a soldier and his knowledge of history. He had even attended my mediumship nights and supported the opening of Where Angels Whisper. A few months after he passed, I returned to Castlebar to visit his grave. He stood right beside me on the edge of Bilberry Lake and laughed his I am up to no good laugh and said, Now I am the ghost Dawn. It was so random, so him, and so perfectly timed. It was his way of saying that even though he was no longer the one checking on my burning skin via text, he was still the one guarding my path. Today, my children are back with me. My eldest son followed in his grandfather's footsteps. My son with autism is doing well out of necessity, still living with his dad to maintain his routine at his school, but we are a blended family and will always be friends. We are learning from the past to forge a brighter future. I am preparing to return to my public service as a medium. I do this work because I was designed for it. Due to my health, I can't work under LED lights. Traveling in cars is challenging, and I can't do warm rooms or big sets of stairs. And I can't do normal jobs, but I can bridge the gap between worlds. It's what I love doing, and it's my purpose. I know that when it's my time to go, both my dads will be there waiting. Until then, I'll keep listening to my dreams, keeping my chin up, and doing the work I was born to do. Some things have been said to me over the years you would not say to anyone. Things I have tolerated and accepted because they were family or people I had shared my gifts with. I believe we can, if we wish, choose to be kind or cruel. I have had to learn to be firm, to be kinder to myself. When you have a calling in life, you're not required to be the same as everyone else. It would be a boring world if we all did the same. My health conditions means I have a recognized disability in Ireland. Many people do. Does it stop us from having rights? Does it stop us wanting what others have? No, it means we have to constantly adapt to our bodies, to the world's judgments, and a healthcare system that does not see us. It means we don't have the same opportunities as others, and it also means we are often treated as invisible or damaged people. It's like grief. People sometimes avoid grieving people because they don't know what to say. Or maybe the passing of a loved one was complex, such as a suicide, and family members are treated differently because of that. When we don't fit into people's perfect lens of life, we face scrutiny, judgments, and even abandonment. This can be devastating to already vulnerable people. The God, source, light I believe in does not abandon us, ever. My next tale about the stolen child shares of my loss of my son Ben and how the devastating process of grief impacted my life and my health. It was not something I asked for. It was nature. While I needed nurturing, I was alone. This story is dedicated to both of my dads who love me regardless of the world's opinion. And to my children, you are my heart, my reason, and my greatest joy. Thank you for loving me for exactly who I am. I pray your futures are bright, and what my dad taught me about kindness lives on in each of you. He also taught me the importance of forgiveness, which is not always an easy thing to do, but it's good for the soul. I am busy writing my life story, which includes more adventures with my dad, the spirit world, and what it was like in the early days, living in Ireland as a solitary medium. Thanks for stopping by, subscribing, and maybe sharing if you wish about your own experiences of grief, homelessness, or making tough life choices. Feel free to leave some questions for consideration for me to discuss with you here on my channel. See you for the next Medium on the Move moment.